Tonya Byrd here. I wanted to talk today about how to get Claude to kind of work in your Canva because I think in everybody's mind, or at least it was in mine, that you could just go tell Claude to create something beautiful, connect it to your Canva, and then Claude would go out there and do it. And it will to a point, but if you set up a template beforehand, it makes it a little easier on Claude. So I'm going to give you an example of what this looks like, and I'm going to kind of tell you how to set up your Claude because you have to do a little training first for this sort of thing to work. First, I wanted to talk about what kind of skill sets you need to have set up in Claude to achieve these kind of things. So you definitely need branding. And so you essentially go out to Claude and you would say, we're going to build a skill set on my branding. You would tell it your logo or send it your logos. You would set up the colors, like all the computer codes for the colors, what your brand perspective is. If you happen to have your mission statement for your brand or kind of your perspective on how you help people through your brand, then you would upload all of that stuff and teach it how you want your branding done. You would also talk about how you are a member of the Realtor Association if you are. So if you have any designations you wanted to mention, anything like that, you would teach it in the brand skill set. Then your voice. So this is your tone, your words that you use, and whether you want casual or professional. Now, I found this lovely video by Clay, who I think he runs the AI meetup, the Keller Williams AI meetup on Fridays at 10 a.m. Eastern. And he did a video on why AI keeps sounding like a robot, and the one page fix it changes everything. In the description of this video, and I will link this video below, he's got all the questions that you can upload into Claude, have Claude interview you, and then you can train it on this skill of your voice. Then you need to create a social media creator skill set. So, and you would just say, hey, I want to do a skill set around social media. Those are the three things you need to do if you're wanting to do something like a blog or a LinkedIn post so that it could have everything in your branding, know your voice, and know how to create an appropriate post for whichever platform you're using. Once you have the skill set set up, then you tell it you want to use this skill to do the thing you want it to do. When you're building your skill and you tell it you want it to connect to Canva, then it will tell you what it needs to do to have that access, and you can make it as a connector. So you just need to ask the question. So I have been experimenting with doing blogs and then taking that blog and turning it into a LinkedIn carousel. And I'm blogging for AI, not necessarily for people. So AI can go read in the social media skill set. I tell it to write things in SEO and GEO format. So it knows that. We were talking back and forth, and we came up with the idea, me and Claude, that we were going to talk about the house that holds them back and the equity that could set them free, all about downsizing and what the sandwich generation can do to help their parents. Because guess where the sandwich generation is? If they're in a professional setting, they're on LinkedIn. So it spit out a rough blog, and I went back and forth with it, having a conversation saying, hey, I like what you said here, but I want you to tweak it here. So it's truly in my voice. And then I can copy and paste this and put this into my blog. Now, I asked it then, let's do the carousel. Because once we got through the blog and that's done, let's work on the carousel. And it already knows that it's going to do several slides. Now, what I did in Canva is create a LinkedIn carousel. And I have my main font here and my main font here. And I just have two text boxes. Boom, boom, two. And you can see it looks like a hot mess. And that's fine. It's a hot mess. But I created the template so that Claude could go out there and do it. Because if you're leave Claude to your own devices to create a template from scratch, it will not do what you want it to do. Came up with some beautiful slides, and I'm like, why can't you just put that in Canva? And it's like, well, I just can't put it in Canva. So I took what its beautiful slides were, created that in Canva, and now I have a template. So now we have this template, and this is template we're always going to work off of. It's doing 7 slides because the template's 7 slides. I told it, hey, you forgot to mention the financial advisor. It was like, oh, yeah, you're right. Let's add another slide. So I went out in Canva, add another slide. Once we did that, and it went over what it was going to talk about, then I told it to build it and it started building it. And this is where it's like building and it's going out there and getting the design information and it's thinking and it's starting to edit and all this stuff. And that it's starting to write and do the design while it's doing all that stuff, right? And then it's like, go back in and check your design. Now, I shared the link to it so it knew which design to go to. And so we're working together as if it's an assistant and I'm directing it. What I love about, and then it wrote me a caption, right? And I, told it that I didn't need my signature at the end of a LinkedIn caption because I'm in LinkedIn. And it's like, oh yeah, right. So it hallucinates and you have to correct it. All in all, it finally gave me the caption that I wanted because I asked it to give me a bunch of hashtags and it gave me a bunch of them. And I said, hey, I thought LinkedIn could only handle 5. And it's like, oh, yeah, you're right. Here's the 5 that you should do. And I finally got it down to the post part. Now, when we get out here to the carousel part, obviously I'm going to have to resize this stuff, right? I might have to like come out here and resize. I might have to do a little tweaking on the words, but they're here and I don't have to type them. And that's what's brilliant about this. Um, and then when we get to round, me and my assistant, when we get around to uploading this to LinkedIn, here's the thing that I learned on that. You have to download it. Like, let's say this is beautiful. It's not, but you have to download it as a PDF standard, best for documents and emailing. Because if you want the beautiful swipe on the carousel on LinkedIn to be beautiful, then it needs to be in PDF format to do that. And these dimensions are Instagram carousel dimensions. So what I like about that is I can make a copy of this. And if I wanted to put this over into Instagram, I could, right? So I could repurpose that way. So 2 different platforms, same size, same information. I could come back out here to good old Claude and say, now give me an Instagram caption, right? And have it right towards Instagram and maybe add some emojis in there because Instagram likes their emojis. So to recap, because I kind of thought AI agents were these magical things that you had to program each individual agent to go out there, and that's not the case. You build off of a skill that it knows, and then you use those skills to turn around and do the task that you want it to do. So as you're building through this, it may have to build more than one skill. If you're wanting to do something like, I don't know, a marketing campaign for your listing, you might have to create a skill with listings, around listings, right? But then you would still use your brand voice. You would still use where you're branding your voice and then it would just use the listing skill. So I encourage you to go out there and build some skills and get out there and play with it. A lot of people are like, oh, you're so smart at this. I just go out and have conversations and ask AI questions and use it as a thought partner with a good sense of skepticism because it can have AI drift and give you bogus information. So I'm always like questioning where's the source, where are you getting this? And I ask it about its logic a lot as well because it's not perfect because people aren't perfect, right? Nobody's perfect, including AI. So I hope that you found that helpful. And if you're building some skill sets in your favorite large language model, let me know what that is by commenting below. And I'll see y'all later. Bye.